take a little bit of my yellow. I'm touching exactly where I've left off so that this mixing happens right here. I'm gonna grab some of my green and I'm gonna pull it this way. All right, I don't want there to be a real hard line anywhere at this point, so I have to touch these edges so I have nice soft edges. I want these things to go in a particular shape, so I'm just going to touch some of these things.
Why did you choose green there?
Do you guys know who Jan Kuntz was?
Yeah.
Okay, Jan Kuntz had a real theory that you always put green over the eyes and blue across the mouth. Ever since I have heard that, I will put green across the eye, but I will switch it as well. I'll put green across the eye, or I'll put, and did I say that right? Blue across the eye and green on the mouth. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me. I just want to get color. That's all I'm truly thinking about. And this is her nose. I really want this to have a nice soft edge to it so it feels like it goes around. I'm going to get more of my yellow through here. And because I did, but you know what? I could even come right back here and do green right across the mouth as well. And I don't want this hard line. This is what happens on hot press paper. So I'm going to add a little bit of red to that. I'm going to take some of my blue and I'm going to bring it down here.
Already, it's
Coming to life.
it's crazy. I'm videoing you.
Cool. I don't want this to happen either, so I want to soften out these lines. This blue can come right along this shadow shape.
So did you use blue there because you've got blue on the top right?
No,
You just used it.
I just used it. But we need to remember that our appendages have lots of warm color in them. So our nose, our chin, our fingers, our elbows, our knees, our toes, all of those things should have a very warm color in them. Okay, then so as I was trying to say to you guys, hot press paper can be very tricky. It will leave these very hard lines that I don't want. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of the same color that's leaving that line. I will tell you guys also that it's taken me quite some time to learn that that's what I do, to speak it. I'm going to come back in here, I think, with a little bit more yellow right through here so I can see where I'm going. And I'm pulling this right down into her dress. Again, there's that blue line, so I'm going to just add some more blue, which is my cerulean.
Who is this person?
I don't know. No idea.
Why didn't you do one of us?
I would have.
Like me.
Come on. Let's take you outside. We'll take a picture of you and I'll do you next week. How's that? See, I want to also encourage you guys to do that. Everybody says, but I don't have any photographs. I don't have any photographs. Well, you know what? There's a camera. Everybody has a camera. You even have your phone. Take your neighbor out. Have your husband take a picture of you. Do it at 3 or 4, no, excuse me, 10 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You want these direct, I do. Let me take this back. I want these kinds of light sources. Those to me make very interesting paintings.
Yeah.
I see where other people make extremely interesting paintings that are not without all this strong light. And having said all of that, I'd forgotten and I didn't pay attention to this light spot. So I'll have to figure it out. That's what we as watercolorists do. We figure it out. So I'm going to take some more of this blue. I'm going to make it this way. My thought wasn't necessary. I painted this girl a long time ago. And she was kind of fun. I was doing a whole exercise of doing a direct painting without doing any tracing, that type of thing, and it was a fun thing to do.
What do you mean? You just painted or you didn't draw anything?
Yeah, pretty much. And it was fun. I did it for myself as like a summer project. I had just kind of started teaching, so it was just a fun thing for me to do.
Look at all those different colors.
Yeah. And let's get some more of this blue. And I haven't added any more color. I got but everything's so watery right now. It's like I got to be careful. And this needs to not be quite so straight. So let's do this. Maybe that'll add a little more interest. And this needs more. So I'm just going to do that. Just getting it. What I'm really truly doing is waiting for this to dry. This has to be dry in order to come back and work more. So, having said that, I happen to know from the colored photograph that she has red hair. So, I feel like I kind of want to give her a little bit of red stuff happening.
Is that orange?
No, that's my cad.
That's beautiful.
Cad red. Cad red also, you know, you get it on here, and then you're like, oh, that's the perfect color. And you walk away, you come back, and it's gone. And you're like, where did it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? So, but again, we don't want to paint whites. Anything is light in value, I'm not going to say, oh, it must be yellow. It's not. I don't want it to be. I'm going to add a little bit of purple to some of this, just to change up the color. I'm going to leave little pieces of white if I can. But I want all of this mixing to happen right here on my piece of paper. It's prettier this way. Also, I'm going to take some of that green as I'm really waiting for all of this to dry. And I'm going to add some of that to this too. Everybody will look at it and they'll say, oh, that girl's got red hair. And nobody will say, what'd she put green in there for? Nobody will. And if they do, we turn our backs and we ignore them.
We walk away.
Walk away.
Say, what an idiot.
Chlorinated green in nature, so it's reflected light.
Right. So anyway, I just want to give her little pieces of whatever, but I don't want to do too many of them either. Otherwise, it just looks goofy to me. So, where else can I?
Serpentine green?
Yes, yes. So she still has some of this up this way. Let's get some more of my. Also, for me, I will be the first one to tell you guys, don't put these flesh tone colors in the hair. Otherwise, it will end up looking like she has more flesh tone up here than in her over here. So I could be creating a problem for myself, and that's okay.
But you're not using the flesh tones, are you?
Mm-hmm. That same yellow and that same red.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I'm a colorblind decorator.
You don't even pull a flesh tone up through that part in her hair?
Yeah, I should be. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a variation here, and right through here I will do exactly what you just said. I'm going to add a little bit of red here, but it's so light up here we almost don't see it. But I'm going to try to make it very, very soft. This feels like it. I'm gonna add some of my cad orange to this, just to change up the color. My cad orange is so yellow that I don't know that it will make a lot of difference. So let's pick up a little of that, and I'm going to add a little bit of my alizarin to some of this. I can't just have it on one spot. It could that could have been the kiss of death right here. We'll see. It's okay. You know, that's what I'm saying, that's the other reason why I say to you, start with these small paintings like this. You get to do so much, you can be so much more adventuresome with this than if you've got this big piece of paper, you've got this drawing on here, and you're like, what do I do? And you know, I say that from total experimentation on my own part. I've done it myself, I know.
What is that purple color?
That's a manganese.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's
You're
okay.
repeating yourself for me. Freaking
Do you
awesome
choose your
color.
colors any differently if you're doing a man or a child?
No. If it's a young person, I try to shy away from burnt sienna. But that doesn't mean that if it's like a dark complected child that I might use some burnt sienna. But I also I do not change my palette for a white, black, Indian. Usually what happens is their features are going to give them away one way or the other. So it is what it is. I've never, see here, I could even take a little bit of my burnt sienna, move it into some of this area here. I don't really want to put it into her face, but every time I say that, you'll see me do it. So, I mean, if you're going to use it in one spot, you got to use it somewhere else. You can't just have it in one little spot. So, where am I? I'm just trying to get some movement up this way so it doesn't feel like I've got so much done on my face and so little everywhere else. I'm going to bring this like this. You see me, I'm patting my brush because this is that small jumbo. So you have to be careful with how much water you have going on in here.
Why? What do you mean?
Because otherwise that's all I'm gonna have is water here, and all of my paint that I put down is just gonna be washed away. I feel like I'd like to get a little bit more blue in this over this way. Just to change it up a little bit, for no other reason. And those are the things I'd really like to hear you guys say about yourself. Oh, I just want to change it, so I'm gonna put this in here.
Shall we say it?
Can you please
We just want to change it.
change it up?
Just feels like it.
Just feels like something I wanted to do.
Yeah. And you know, the more that you look at other people's work, the more you will appreciate that. I need this really to be a very nice soft edge right along this hard shadow shape along the nose, because the nose goes around. So we want to make the nose go around. And here is where I'm going to have my light spot. So parts of it are very hard and parts of it are very soft. And this comes right into her cheek, so I'm going to use a little bit of that alizarin.
You're
This-
not worrying about detail yet at all.
And you know what, you guys? This could turn out really ugly. And you have to be okay with that, because I'm okay with it. This little tiny piece of paper. This is what I get to experiment on.
How many do you, I'm going to use a terrible word.
Go ahead.
How many do you fail?
Lots of them.
Ugh, so crushing.
Yeah, but you know what they say, as a beginner, you really should say to yourself, I'm going to do 100 of these. And if I get one out of that 100 that turns out, or if you get 2 or 3,
Should have been recorded. You said.
you should have recorded that.
I was
So,
taught 1 out of 10.
but when you're first starting with portraits, It could be, the numbers could be much higher. They could be. All right, so I don't want this hard line right through here, so I'm gonna loosen this up, along with this into the lip, and on this side of the lip. This is exactly what I would have done had I done the whole wash all over everything. But like I said, there are certain parts of this that don't look pretty yet, and I may not be able to make them look pretty.
Yeah, but it's looking pretty in this camera.
That's neat. Let's call her.
I mean, her face is really taking shape.
It really doesn't, honestly, it just doesn't take that much to start showing some of these shapes. I want this to be nice and soft right through here. I'm gonna pick up just a little bit of that yellow to keep it moving here. I'm gonna move right out into the light part, I hope.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
No. I have done a YouTube, yes, I have done one before.
Well, I can put this on my channel if y'all want to look at it. But I wouldn't do it unless you said it was okay. I have millions of people that go to my channel. It's amazing.
There you go, put it up.
Millions.
Millions and
What's
trillions.
your channel?
Say what?
What's your channel?
Oh, it's a joke.
Oh.
I mean, I do have a channel, but I was joking about millions. I think I have 2.
2 daughters.
I have done a tape that I posted on YouTube, and it's of a portrait that I did of a cowboy. I keep saying to myself, okay, I need to get in here and do another one.
Okay, let me give you a little hint here. Get
Okay.
you a camera, set it up, videotape everything you paint wherever you are, and put it on YouTube, and you monetize it by calling Daniel Edwards, or Daniel whatever his name is,
Who?
the watercolor people.
Oh, Daniel
Daniel
Smith.
Smith.
Daniel Smith, and the paintbrushes, and paper, and blah, 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 and that's what you do.
Okay.
All it takes is time and money.
Well, I was going, and I was actually, and because I have a Mac, I was going to, I can go to the Mac store, and they'll help me make my own video. Because I'm not proficient with
Well,
that kind of
what
stuff.
do you think? You just get a camera and paint.
Oh, I know, but I don't want it to be 2 hours. I like those little speed thingies.
Oh,
where
well, yeah.
You could see all of it happening like instantaneous, and that's truly, I feel like, what people really want to watch.
5 minutes, 3 to
5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes.
It is. I watch them all the time.
Exactly. That's what people want to watch. They
you
don't want
watch
to
those,
watch that other.
Kim?
What?
Do you watch those?
Yes, I will watch those. I don't want to sit for an hour and watch
Yeah, I don't
the
either.
other.
On the other hand, I find those really unsatisfying because I want to know how they figured out what they were going to do.
Okay, so let me take that back then just for 1 second. I want to use it as a teaser.
Intro.
So that somebody says, I'm going to go look up Kim now and I want to go take a class with her. Because you can't learn, I don't feel like you can with those things on YouTube. I don't know, maybe you can.
I think you can.
Well, sometimes I go on there to find, how do you do a brush stroke, or what?
Sure.
What does a rigger brush do, or what is a blah blah blah,
Right.
whatever that is.
Exactly.
But sometimes, there are people on there that will say, how do you paint an eye like you're doing now? Wow, look at that.
Is she talking to me or is she still
I
making
know,
stuff
I'm
up?
talking
She
to
goes
you.
on.
You're great.
She's just going off, don't worry about it.
Okay, go.
There's really 2 levels of the videos. One is the teaser, like you said. The other is the teaching ones.
Yeah, there's all
Right.
kinds.
A lot of those are at pay sites. Like Patron will set up a pay site that
Sure.
people subscribe to for so much a month that then you get to go watch.
But okay, so before I move on from this, I want you guys to see that somebody here has been already experimenting with their eyes, ears, nose, things like that. You notice I left no white on those eyes, on the whites of the eyes. Everybody wants to leave those whites of those eyes white, and they are absolutely, that's the wrong thing to do. Don't do it. Now, I know that there are people out there who paint and they're phenomenal artists, okay? They will paint everything except for those eyes, and they will leave the eyes absolutely white until they are finished with their painting. They can do it, they're professionals, they've been doing it for 100 years. We can't, or I can't, because when I see that, those laser beams staring out at me, that's all I see. And it's not, they're not fun, those aren't fun paintings to me. All I can see is that. I have to change this up here because this line is bothering me. And that's what you should be saying to yourselves. This is bothering me, let's change it.
This is bothering me.
This is bothering me.
I can say that.
Then change it. Don't leave it. And if you see what you've got here is just a whole bunch of water, get rid of that well. Make yourself another new one. Hi.
We came to tell you that.
So we heard you guys wanted to do 2 more classes.
Yes.
You do, we have the space, so we can extend it to July.
Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, if, as long as I have like 8 people, I'm cool with that. How many want to do it?
Yeah.
Is it the same time, same?
Yes,
We would
same
just
time,
extend
same
it,
everything.
Same time, same thing, just 2 more weeks, which would go from July 1st, and then July 8th would be the last one.
Okay, so I have to assume that there's going to be somebody who doesn't want to do it. So, do you want them to come up and
Yeah,
pay
you guys,
today?
Before you guys leave, want to, whether you're going to do it or not, just let the front desk know so that we can adjust it will be, I think it comes out to, if you want to do both sessions, it's an additional 105. So if you're not gonna do that, just either way, let them know so that we can have a idea.
Okay. Fine by me.
If it's fine with him, then yeah, we can do. Okay.
It's all fine by me.
So, I think that, in that case, it comes out to like 50. Okay.
Whatever you
It
say.
was, they can do that, well, that's fine with us, if it's fine with Kim.
Yeah, it's all fine with me.
Okay.
Because like I said, we do the schedule up so far in advance.
Yeah.
that I don't know when I'm leaving, and when I feel like I've got this big of a response, it feels like maybe we should extend it a little bit.
Yeah, we
because-
have the studio space for those
Yeah.
2
Cool.
days, so. Okay.
I appreciate it, thanks. Thank you very much. Okay, again, this has to be dry before I can get back in here. And you know what? I completely forgot one whole area here. You guys didn't remind me. Right here. I need this piece over here. And again, this shadow shape has a very hard line because part of it is a cast shadow, and the other part is a form shadow that goes up over her cheek. So it has to be nice and soft. And let's go.
That's a good way to explain that. I never thought of it like that before.
What?
Cast and form.
Cast shadow is very hard. A form shadow is very soft. And put your glasses back on when you can't see.
Do you think children are harder to do?
Yes, they are. It's not so bad if they are, like, say, at least a year or two, we'll say 2. But any younger than that is very difficult because their face is not fully formed and they don't have this bridge on their nose, so it makes them look very funky. You have to be aware of the artist that needs to be there. Just want some mixing to happen. I don't want that to come down. I don't want it to look like it's a mustache. Need nice soft areas here. She's got, there's a cast shadow right here from a hair strand that you don't really see. So I was thinking that I'm going to give her one that you can actually see. Let's make this one a little green up this way. So even these little shadow things, keep them interesting and change the color on them. And this feels like it needs a little more. And then I was thinking what I would do is give her a little piece of hair coming from here. And I'm not going to do the whole piece of hair. I just want to do, I don't even know if this is going to look like a piece of hair, but I can try. You know, I have friends who will say, what if you mess up when you're doing these demos? And I'm like, yeah, and? Honestly, if I can't mess up, then that doesn't give you permission to mess up either. If I have to be perfect, so do you. Comprende? I just want to make sure we get this straight. I don't know if that will look like hair or not, but we'll try it. It feels like there's a bit of a tangent right here, but like I said, I'm still going to try, see what happens. I'll leave it alone. All right, so again, this has to be dry. I also am one of those people, I have to start seeing shapes. So, and if I can't get the eyeballs right, I'm not interested in finishing this painting. How was that?
Hard to see her eyeballs.
Okay, so I forgot to leave a
I don't
light
think
spot
you're
up
really
here,
sure.
but I'm going to, hopefully I will regain it. We'll see what happens.
But I mean, your photograph, it's hard to see.
It is, but you still have to give her, you have to give her a little bit of an eyebrow. You do these things in stages. Oops, didn't want that to happen. Lost control of the brush. That's okay. Just tap it away. So having said that, I'm gonna come in here. She's got this little, and you know what, I don't have her eyeball. I don't think I have her eyeball drawn in here correctly either. And this happens quite often, you guys. So be prepared for it. Just say, not everything is going to be drawn correctly, but I'm going to paint it correctly, okay? So I start off with a little bit of red, and I'm going to come in here with more of my blue, because her upper lid is going to cast a bit of a shadow. It's coming all the way across over here. And I'm going to put a little bit of green in here. And even though this is in the shadow, I'm going to still leave a little piece of light over here. So now while that one is drying, well, I'm not quite there yet. I'm going to do this too. I'm going to take a little bit of my purple. And you know, because I've already given you guys all of the names to these, I'm not going to try to be very specific about names. Unless you ask me directly, which color are you using? I'm just saying my purple. Because it honestly could be either one of my mineral or my manganese. It could be either, it doesn't make any difference. I just want to get in more of a shadow shape right through here. And I'm going to bring it around underneath her eye. I also am going to try to leave just a little lighter value directly under her eye so that it feels like it's part of the eyelid. And that way it gives it some volume. And I already know I'll have to come back. I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to move to the other one over here. I'm going to basically do the same. I'm going to start over here in the corner of her eye, give her a little bit of red. Bring it right up over the top here.
You're doing red there, not purple?
I did red.
Okay.
For right in here. I'm going to I'll take some, I don't know, over here I did blue, let's do green over here as part of the shadow shape. And I'm gonna come with this purple this way to start showing her eyelid shape. I'm gonna bring that this way and bring it down as part of the shadow shape here.
Doesn't matter what color her eyes are.
Makes no difference. It really, and it truly doesn't make any difference as long as she has a light, a medium, and a dark value. That's what makes the difference. And here, again, I'm going to try to leave that little bit of a light spot.
With the tiniest little minimalistic touches.
Yep. Soften that baby up.
You flatten your brush to do that.
Uh-huh. I love these brushes. Have I said that?
Round, isn't it? It's a round shape?
It's the, like I said, it's the small.
Is that the Sterling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those brushes too.
And it feels like I should have just a little bit more value here and right through here.
I went to Jerry's online and ordered some of them last week. They're in sale.
Wow,
They're a
look at
lot
that.
cheaper than
They are.
Amazon or.
Yeah, they really are.
I mean, it's a tremendous sale.
What's the name of the brushes?
It's the Silver Black Velvet. 3000S series are all of these like this, all the round ones. Then there's a small, medium, and large jumbo size. I particularly like the small one. I don't have a tendency to use the medium or the large one as much, but I really like this one. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to move on to her lips. Because again, her lips have got to have, there has to be a nice dark over here. I'm going to go back to my purple. She's got a nice little cast shadow underneath her on her bottom lip. I'm going to take some of this red I already have. It's the combo of the CAD and the alizarin. And
Gray.
what?
You haven't used any gray. You just use all color.
I'll color. What do I want to use gray for? You're asking. I mean, I just put a little bit of my cerulean right through here. I think I might do just a tad more. Maybe too much. So clean my brush, I'll move it around. And it's all part of the shadow shape that's right here. You can't even tell the difference between the shadow and where the rest of her lip is. So, no need. This bottom portion right here is what's going to help describe it. So I'm going to take that, it's my CAD. And if I feel the need to come back in here and make more of a definition on this bottom lip, I can do that anytime. I don't have to do it right now. I'm just softening as I go here in a couple of spots. I'm going to take more of this yellow. And I'm going to bring it, I think this way, just to change it up a little bit. when her, okay, so her nostrils, this side is in light. So when the sun is shining through it, thinner skin, you can see the blood per se. So this side of her nostril, I'm gonna put more red in. I don't want it to look like she had a bloody nose, just a little. And I'm gonna do a little bit over here, but on that side, I'm gonna come back with just a little bit of my purple over this way. And I'm gonna take some of this and move it right back up in here to help describe the shape of that nose. Kind of the same here. I don't want that to be. More, less, more, less, okay? So
Gosh, and that little white,
just a little more, yeah. And now actually, if I can actually get these eyes to get in here, I'm gonna take a little bit of my burnt sienna because I just need more value. She's got, I'm gonna assume that these are eyelashes up here. We don't want to do eyelashes. We want to do shapes. We want to do a shape. Come on. It always helps too if you talk to your paint to say, come on, more. I'm not kidding you how much water I use, you guys. This thing is almost sopping wet. So I'm gonna came a little bit more purple right through here just to give it more value. And I want my burnt sienna again.
because I can ask her to move. You're in my way while I'm trying to film this.
Okay. I'm going to move this over just a hair.
Oh my God, look at that.
I do want to leave, excuse me, just a little piece of light, maybe just down on the bottom edge of that eye. We'll see. Well, I'll see if that's enough. It might make, on this particular side, it might just make it look like it's odd-shaped eyeball. So, in a very light, I'll let that go for a second. I might need to fix that. You know, shit happens, okay. Over here, I'm gonna do that same basic. I'm gonna get some dark. Hopefully I'm gonna leave a nice light on this side. 'Cause apparently I didn't get to do it on the other side. I want that little line there, I believe. I think I need to let that dry. And check back. We're gonna get more red. A little more red. And I think a little more red. I'm gonna come back to this purple, this side over here. Feels like I got a little bit sloppy. I'm gonna bring this up. Hopefully it's gonna help define the corner of the mouth. And again, I got just a little sloppy right here, so I'm just gonna pick that up. Not that way. And even on the other side, she's going to need this little dark piece right over here on the corner of her mouth. Otherwise, it'll make this whole side of her face look very flat. If we make that mouth go round, it'll help say that her face is round. And I can pull it up just a little more, I think. Right through here she needs. And now that I've done that there, it feels like this needs to be better defined here. And maybe even a little bit more red through here. These size paintings really should not take that long to do. Well, you guys, I'm almost done, and I haven't even painted here an hour. So, this baby's almost done.
I'm almost done.
I'm almost done. You guys have a lot of work to do. But you know, okay, so you stand back. I wish that I had kept this little piece of light right here. So I don't know if I can get it or not, but we'll try.
Why don't you wouldn't use the eradicator?
I can. And I probably actually will, it will lift up. That might be enough.
Come on up.
It can't be as light as what's on this side of the face. You guys, are you going to hear me say that a lot? And I really need you to pay attention to it. Unless you want to see me get really red, okay? Everything that's in light on the shadow side cannot be as light as what's on the light side. So I'm not going to have that issue at all, right? Nobody's doing that. So I don't need this to be that light. I just need it to be lighter. And it's the same with the little light on this side. But it does feel like, whoops, excuse me,
Oh,
I didn't mean
sorry.
to. It does feel like this needs to come back a little more. Also, I don't want anybody to say to themselves, this is in shadow, so I'm going to use blue. That doesn't work either.
So when you say back, you mean to look as though that plane is further back than the other side?
Say that again.
Yeah, I know.
In English.
So that eye needs to look like it's further back than the left
Correct.
side? Okay.
No.
It's a shadow.
It needs to be in the shadow.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I say I'm pushing it back. At this point, when I stand back here and look at it, it doesn't look like this is going around. It looks like this is coming a little forward. Do you see that? And you can probably really see it when you're doing this. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought.
It's
But
not.
also, I'm not real thrilled with this right through here either. But these are little minor changes. These are changes that you can make at the very end of your painting. Everybody is always gung-ho, let's get the eradicator out and let's eradicate this spot. And it just doesn't need to happen that way. You don't know if something is bad until almost the very end. And it's so much better to make little adjustments than it is to say, okay, I'm gonna get in here and wiping this baby out right now, because then when you start doing that, all of a sudden your painting looks like it's worn out. It's ready for bed, it's ready for trash. And you just don't wanna do it too early on. I can never say that enough. You make one little change to your painting and it changes the whole thing. Something here could be wrong, but you're seeing something here because you can't figure out what is it about this that's looking off. And sometimes it's because something over here is just too dark or it's too light. And if you change whatever this is over here, you don't even see that over there anymore. And it feels like, oh, I see, I'm so glad I didn't pick up the eradicator and start eradicating, because if you start doing that, then like I said, your painting's ready for bed, the garbage, everything. So
Are you using burnt sienna now?
that one is my purple. I did have some burnt sienna in here,
The purple.
but this feels like it's too red. It feels like I need to change it up just a tad. And I'm gonna get some more of my burnt sienna, because all this stuff is in shadow over this way. It's got, you know, nice varied shapes through here. When you see me take my dry brush and I'm coming back to it, it's called charging. because what I'm trying to do, I want it to follow the water. I don't want it to have a really hard line through there. So I come back with a dry brush, and as dry as, not completely dry, it's got to be damp. But I want to pull it out in such a way that it will not leave a really hard line.
No drips?
Yeah, why don't I do more drips, darn it? I love those drips. Here, let's do some drips. And you know what?
Now you're talking.
This is, you know, one of the things that I did really learn from Charles Reed, and I can't express enough how important this really is that when you feel like you're getting too tight, he always would just make himself a little problem. And you know what? It makes his painting, it made his painting so much more exciting. And if you like a little drip wet somewhere you didn't want it to, just pick it up.
It's action.
Exactly. It's much more exciting to look at than having,
Not that it wasn't great before.
but you know, I used to do a lot more drips. And I like the drips. And I think just the more I painted, the more control I have over my paint. And maybe less control would be more interesting. And this hopefully can end up looking just like little pieces of hair. Wouldn't that be fun? Because this feels like it got a little bit too rigid for me.
Oh, that, yeah.
Just even some water. It does feel like I should take a little bit of this right through here. I'm going to do this just to give it a little bit of an outline on that side.
Oh.
That makes her neck take shape. Also, even though it's not really showing it, it feels like I should have just a little bit of a shadow thing happening, just a little. And this one like disappeared, so let's make it more. And I can just do a few little dots on this side, not have to do the whole thing. These are what I consider studies. And these are the things that I feel like you should always do before you get in and decide, this is the painting I want to paint. Because if you don't do a couple of these little studies, you get stuck and you think, well, what should I do here? Or what should I do there? Well, all you can do is experiment with it. And these are fun little experimentations. It feels like this should be a little more blue and not just cut off right there.
How did the white spot on the dark side of the sheet, how did that stay, like, how did you not get it to drip?
Where?
I didn't notice.
Tell me where.
Right here, how did that stay?
I remember, I forgot about it, remember? So I
Oh.
painted around it.
Okay.
I painted around it. And also, again, you can see that I'm gonna take a different color. I'm gonna take a little bit of my cobalt. And I'm gonna do this, because this eye needs to be pushed back into the socket.
Oh, good. Been thinking you should do that.
And I could do that also with a little bit of my French Ultra.
I didn't have to tell you.
No, I know, I did it all by
God.
myself.
Horrible.
And it may not be enough.
Oh, it's so good.
And now that I've done that, it
Oh,
feels
wow.
like this doesn't end up feeling like hair yet. So let's, I'm gonna give this just a little bit more value here. And I think I'm gonna do that here to make this little spot a little lighter in value too, just a little. When you get to the point where you're painting a lot on your piece of paper, sometimes what happens is that your paper just won't take anymore. And that's another way for it just to say, I'm done. Even though it's not really done, you're gonna end up putting it in the garbage anyway. This doesn't feel like it's hair. It feels like this got too dark. to something. Let's change that up just a hair.
No pun.
And no pun intended. Let's make this one just a little blue up this way. But hear me and truly believe me. Don't say, oh, this is shadow, this is blue. Don't do it. All right, let's, I know that her neck looks, it's lighter in value here. But even having said that, it feels like this should go a little darker, a little darker. So you lay it down, move it around. I maybe put a little much on there. But like I said, these are supposed to be the experimentation type things. These are not. I don't want that to drip. I didn't want that to drip, Kelly.
I don't like it, change it.
Change it. Let's see, that got hard right there too.
Isn't that what you said we were supposed to say?
Yep. Change it. Change it. Change it. Change it. Let's do this. And then I'm going to soften this edge up. See what happens when you have too much water on your brush? So that was a prime example of what I don't want you to do.
What happened?
It just, all what I laid down just kind of disappeared. It just went.
You know, I thought you should have been finished a long time ago, and every time you touch it, it gets better and better.
Actually, this spot is still not good for me.
I like to stop. It's so good. If I kept
And you know
going.
what? That is absolutely the other thing that does happen. I think I started to tell you guys this, or maybe I did. If I did, stop me. There was a girl that was our model with Bill Lundquist, and she was a Miss Arizona is who she was. And she, when I did some watercolor, we didn't do watercolor there, we just drew. But I took some photographs of her and I did a couple watercolors of her, and I would take pictures as I was going along, and I was like, why didn't I stop? Why didn't I stop? I don't know why I didn't just stop, because it was such a better painting half finished than finished. I'm going to take just a little bit of my purple right through here, and I'm going to add it to this so that it's a little bit deeper right there. This is at a point now I think I should just stop and let it rest. Maybe.
Oh, just one more thing.
Will you be doing the plaid later?
The what?
Plaid later?
I won't even do the plaid on this. I've done plenty of plaids. I'll leave that up to you guys. I could if I wanted to. I don't think she needs it.
Take away from her face.
Yeah. But like I said, I've done lots of plaids, you guys.
She's beautiful. Damn.
I have done her before. I think she's over there in my, maybe she's not in my pile.
Look at that. Ah.